Hi guys, it's Alan and welcome back to the Library of Alexandria. Today I'm going to do another tag video.
Challenge accepted.
This one, the reading habits tag, where I answer 11 questions on my reading habits. Again, I have them written down on these handy dandy note cards and I will be reading them from these. Alright, without further ado, let's go ahead and get it started. Numerus unus. Do you have a certain place at home for reading? I mean, no. I read out in the patio, but it's hot and there's lizards during the summer. I like it when it's raining, but it's not screened in, so if like there's any wind, it's and your book gets all wet and stuff. At night, definitely not, because there's lizards and frogs everywhere. I also read in bed. I answered this in my BookTube newbie video. Until I fall asleep, which is always, if I'm reading in bed, if I'm not sitting upright, it's going to be one page maximum before, boom, that book falls on my head and I am done for the night. So, boosh. Numerus duo, bookmark or random piece of paper. This has actually changed since I was young versus now. When I was young, I never used a bookmark for any reason ever. It was just random pieces of paper. I guess I just didn't own any bookmarks, so random pieces of paper, whatever I could find, just shove it in there. I did not dog ear because I wanted my books pristine, so I didn't dog ear at all. I actually had, that's right, I had a book cover, one of those leather book covers that had a little light you would pull out of the spine so you could read in bed in the dark, and that had a little flap that you could stick inside to kind of mark your place. But other than that, it was random pieces of paper. Now, on the other hand, it's really whatever I have. When I moved into my current house, I found 3 bookmarks that I'd gotten from Japan, and so they are my current bookmarks for the many books scattered around. I think my wife uses one. And then for really big books, where this little bitty bookmark doesn't actually do the trick, just huge pieces of paper. I think I've got the full packet of my insurance benefits that marks my page in this one massive book that I have. So, yeah, really anything will do in a pinch. And you know what? I'm not ashamed. I dog ear my pages. If I don't have anything else, I'll dog ear it until I can find something. It just doesn't bother me like it did when I was younger. Boosh. Numerus tres. Can you just stop reading, or do you have to stop after a chapter / certain amount of pages? Oh man, who can just stop in the middle of like a page and just, I'll come back to it later, unless I know going in that I've got like 30 seconds or something to read, like, I don't know, driving down to the store with my wife or something, and I'm in the passenger seat, and I'm gonna like a page of reading it. No. Other than that, like if I'm sitting down to read, I'm gonna stop either at the chapter break or at the very least one of those narrative breaks. That's the spaces, or if it's at the end of the page, it's like 3 asterisks. Yeah, end of the chapter. End of a POV break, definitely. I don't like stopping in the middle, because then it's difficult to remember what was happening. When you're stopping right in the middle of a scene, there's a whole lot more recall that has to go on than if when you start, you're starting in a new chapter or a narrative break, that kind of thing, where you can kind of jump in fresh. So definitely reading all the way through. What barbarian stops in the middle? Visigoths. Numerus quatuor. Do you eat or drink while reading? Why would you not eat or drink while you're reading? Is this to ask if people are like afraid of getting stuff on their books? Like, I'll eat and drink while I'm reading. It's fine. If it's a huge book like the Malazan books, I can't really do it one-handed because the books are too freaking big and you can't like hold it like this. But earlier today, man, I was finishing a book while eating a chicken leg at the same time, just like, it's good stuff. And yeah, this hand had barbecue all over it, but then you set the book down, you turn it with the other page, you hold it down with one, and you just turn with the hand you've got left. It's fine. And yeah, I drink. Who doesn't drink while they read? Like, are you not thirsty while you're reading? I don't understand that. The eating maybe, but if you don't drink while you eat, you must get thirsty. So, yes, I do both of those. Boosh! Numerus quinque. Multitasking, music or TV while reading. This is actually a good one. It depends on what I'm reading, really. If I'm reading nonfiction, no. Nonfiction is too challenging to stay focused on if there's anything kind of going on in the background. So I gotta have complete silence or white noise like the shower running or, you know, birds, unless it's those really loud birds that have that incessant repetitive too loud and too repetitive. That's just annoying. Otherwise, I mean, I can generally I can read while there's music as long as there's not words. If someone else is watching TV and it doesn't interest me at all, I can totally read. I read a lot when there's a bunch of people gathered around and everyone's talking. If I'm not embroiled in the conversation at large, I'll read while everyone else is talking while keeping an ear out to see if I've got anything to add to the conversation. I like to multitask, so I like to talk, and because if the choice is read but not talk to people, or not talk to people and read, I don't want to make that decision. So I just like to do both, so that I can flit in and out of the conversation as the need arises. If someone talks to me, I'll set the book down. But yeah, totally multitask. My wife cannot. My wife cannot. If there is any kind of noise, she is just, she can't do it. Can't do it. Numerous sex. One book at a time or several? This is another one that has changed in recent years. When I was younger, one book at a time. And not just that, one series at a time. I did not pick up another book until I had finished the current book, and I didn't start reading a new series until I had finished the series that I was reading, or at least caught up with where the author is now, you know, stuck, and you're waiting for the next one to come out. Now, I tend to have between 2 and 3 books going at the same time that I'm reading. I have a nonfiction book always that I try to read a little bit out of every day. And then I keep 1 or 2 fiction books going at the same time, really depending on how much I'm enjoying the fiction book or how long I think it's going to take me. Like, I just started Toll the Hounds of the Malazan series, and it's 1,250 pages, and I'm not sure I want to read it exclusively. Maybe I want to read other books. You know, Toll the Hounds and I never had that conversation about exclusivity. So I might start reading a second book while I'm in the process of reading that, just because it's going to take forever. Now, some of these booktubers I watch, they're reading like 13 books at the same time.
This is madness.
How? How do you remember what is happening in each one of these books? And it's not like they're reading 13 Bernstein Bears books where it's the same characters just in a different situation. Oh, Papa crosses the street without looking both ways. No, they're reading like 13 high fantasy books that each have 1,344 characters per book. How do you keep that straight? Man, more power to you guys. If you can read that many books at the same time to finish y'all's massive TBRs, I applaud you. I can't do it. 3 is the maximum. I can't do it. Can't do it. Boosh. Numerous septem. Reading at home or everywhere. I kind of already answered this one. I'll read anywhere, really. I take a book with me pretty much everywhere I go, and that was the case when I was younger. As a child, I brought my book, man, everywhere. My parents still talk about how weird it is for a child to bring a book to the beach because they can't possibly imagine that someone will want to read while you're at the beach. I grew up around the beach. The beach is fine, and if you don't have a beach near you, I mean, then the beach is awesome for you, but I've been to the beach 100 times. I like to read by the sound of the waves, but I'm going to bring a book. Anyway, I'm probably going to cut all that. Anyway, they just can't imagine that there's anyone who wants to read at the beach, and they still talk about that. So I still bring my book with me to the beach. I bring it kind of wherever I'm going to go, because here's the thing. The second I don't bring a book, here's what's going to happen. The minute I don't bring a book, I'm waiting in line. Guaranteed. Every single time I'm like, I'll leave the book at home. I am waiting in line for something. It doesn't matter. I'm just either sitting there waiting for somebody, and I guess I could play on my phone, but I don't want to do that. I'd rather read. It's way more interesting than just piddling around on Facebook. So, everywhere. Boosh! Numerous octo. Reading aloud or silently in your head. Does anyone read aloud while they're reading novels, like, by themselves? Does anyone do that? That's exhausting. I don't have children, but I've read to, like, my nephews or my friends' kids. it's exhausting to read a full page of like an adult book. That's tiring. So no, I don't read aloud. I do read silently in my head. I know you're not supposed to. I know the key to speed reading is you're supposed to just like look at phrases and absorb it and kind of make sense of it afterwards. I read silently in my head. That's why I guess my maximum WPMs is going to be stifled. So read silently in my head. I don't read aloud, really. I mean, if I'm reading something super academic, I will, after the first 3 times I read it and don't understand, or my mind wandered, if my mind's wandering real bad, then I'll read sections out loud, and I find that helpful. But otherwise, no, don't read out loud. Can you imagine reading a Malazan book, 1,250 pages, out loud? You don't even know how to pronounce half those names, so boom. Numerous Noem. Do you read ahead or skip pages? This is a really good one. I don't skip. Who skips pages in a book? I don't skip pages. If I'm going to read the book, I'm going to read all the book. But I do look ahead. And I don't read ahead because I don't want to know what happens per se. But I like to look ahead to the end of the chapter or at the end of the narrative break and like read the last line, the line that ends the chapter or the line that precedes that blank space. And I don't really know why. I think it's like a teaser trailer where I know what, like I have something to look forward to and I can see how they got to that point. Every now and then it gives a massive spoiler that I wish I would have just waited to read the whole chapter for. So that's disappointing. But most of the time it's just like, ooh, wow, that person was knocked out. Oh crap, what's going to happen to knock them out? And it doesn't really bother me that I know they're going to get knocked out. That may come from I play RPGs on my PlayStation, and I've always used walkthroughs or guides because I don't have the kind of time to play something more than once, so I need to get everything the first time through. And so when you're reading guides, even if they're spoiler-free, you just read like a couple paragraphs ahead to see what's going on, and it always spoils the most immediate thing. So that's probably where that came from, and why it doesn't bother me too much. Ka-cha! Numerous Decem. Sorry, I couldn't read it. The lights were in my eyes. Numerous Decem, breaking the spine or keeping it like new. Another one that has changed in my phone just went off. When I was younger, like in high school, I kept those pristine. Like I said, I had a book cover, and I did not want any kind of like damage to the spine on my bookshelf. They were pristine, like new, like they'd never been read. My book cover really helped with that. And then every now and then, like you would set one down, or it would just get I don't know, something would get set on it and it would mess up the spine, or the cover, heavens forfend, that happened way more often. And it just looked like garbage. I hated it. But then, when I was first in college, I dated this girl who I let borrow like my Pratchett books, and she did not take care of the spine at all. Like it wasn't a thing at all. I think she bent the pages back like this. Oh my god. And at that point, it just didn't matter. It was just ruined. So now it doesn't bother me. Also, I like bookstores, like old secondhand bookstores now. If I see one, I'll walk in because that's the smell of moldy, musty books it's like the smell of knowledge, the wisdom of the ages. And you can't get a book at a used bookstore that doesn't look like it's like 100 years old. So now I don't care. There's no way to read a 1,250 page book without damaging the spine. You just can't. So the longer you have a book, the more likely it's going to get jacked up, especially the spine and the cover. And like the last 2 books, freaking Memories of Ice and Return of the Crimson Guard, they got humid because I left them on the sink in the bathroom while I took a shower, and so their covers ripped right off, and I would be very sad if I cared about that. So it's not really a big deal. It doesn't change what's inside them. But I do get you guys who want to protect the spine, and even dust jackets, like you guys take dust jackets off because you don't want them destroyed. I still do that because the dust jackets are pretty, and hardback spines tend not to get as messed up as paperback ones. So I don't really care anymore, but I used to. And finally, numerous undecem. Do you write in your books? No, because I am not a barbarian. I'm just kidding. A lot of you guys like to write in your books. I see some of you guys annotating them, and I get it. Like, I get that you're making yourselves notes, and you got little sticky tabs and color-coded stuff, and I can't do it. I can't do it. I wouldn't be able to make sense of it anyway. So I don't bother. When I was in college, when I was over like taking care of my books, I would write like phone numbers down in my books or like notes for class. So I discovered ones that that I still have since college that have like writing. I'm like, whose phone number is this? And I kind of want to call it to see. But just random notes that don't make any sense anymore. But when I'm making notes for like reviews or what I want to talk about on BookTube, I can't write in my books. I can't have a book with like stuff sticking out of the side. And it's not like there's anything wrong with it. It's just I can't do it. Instead, my wife got me a notebook. It's got an old-timey map because, old-timey cartographers, they're the real heroes. And so I take all my notes in here. Yeah. So it sucks when I don't have my notebook handy. That usually happens in bed because I left my notebook in the other room. That's when I dog-ear the pages so that I know to go back to that page when I get up the next morning and make myself a note. So this has been super fun. The tags are super fun videos, and I do a Google search for BookTube tags, and it's really hard to find some of them. So if you guys are watching this and you know of a cool BookTube tag that I should do, please say so in the comments, because I will definitely do it, because the tags are super fun videos. So those are my reading habits, so share yours with me in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.